What's going on, everyone? This is Jesse, and you guys are on my Facebook art page. Today we're going to be doing a fantastic Hocus Pocus piece. Give me 1 second, everyone, while I jump onto my feed here. It always takes me a moment to find it, so bear with me just one moment. We're going to talk a little bit. I'm here a little bit early to maybe answer some questions. I'm not here too early, but I'm early enough where I'm going to be answering maybe a couple of your questions. Please be sure to say hello to me as you guys jump on. Here we go, and I found the feed. There are already a whole bunch of you on here. Let me lower the volume on this thing. So, all right, guys, as you guys jump on here with me, please say hello in the comments. Tell me where you're painting from, and then if you have any questions, please ask them. All right, there's a whole bunch of you on here already commenting. So, Esme Haudegi, first one to comment. Fantastic. Hello, guys. Now, the comments, I expect there's going to be a whole bunch of you on here today. The comments are going to fly pretty quickly, especially at the beginning, so I may not be able to keep up with all of them, okay? I'll do my best. In between steps, as I'm instructing in between steps, I will go look at the comments and answer your questions, give you guys shout-outs, hellos, that kind of thing. But please be sure to let me know where you're painting from, who you're painting with if you'd like, and let me know if you're ready to have some fun, because we are going to be having some fun. Obviously, this is our piece for today. We'll talk about it some more here in just a bit. But I just want to say that everything on here is optional, including things like the background color, the wording, right? Maybe you want to have a different phrase on there. I smell children, squad goals, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so we're going to get going right at 4 o'clock is when we officially start. For now, though, I'd like to see if you guys have any questions for me. Put your questions down below. I'll quickly try to say hello to some of you. Elizabeth Karnowski from Kansas. Hello and welcome. Let's see, Donita Melodia Sobi. And then Esmeralda Morales from Santa Maria, California. Fantastic. Whole bunch of you on here, like I said. We're not going to go super fast through the whole process. We do take our time in a little bit. Right after we get started, I'm going to flip things over to the front where I'm in the front. The camera moves close. The canvas that I'm going to be using is up front. Everything's real tight so you guys can see everything that I do. We're going to get working on the background color first, and then we're going to start doing the actual tracing for those of you that have the cutouts. Right? Hopefully you guys are all set. For those of you that requested the cutouts, I sent out these emails where you were to cut these out and then print them out, cut them out, and then have them ready for today. Okay, we're going to be doing this together. So, and then there's a little cauldron also that I sent out. I am going to be teaching you guys how to draw everything on here, right? But this obviously makes it a lot easier if you have this. So that you're going to need all of those. You're going to need a pencil with an eraser. Very important. You got a pencil because we're going to be doing some drawing. Obviously, you need something to paint on: a canvas, piece of paper, piece of wood, whatever it is you're going to be creating this awesome piece today. You're going to need some paints. For those of you that are painting along, I'm using acrylic paints. So I've got some purple, I've got some orange, I've got some black, white, white, red, pink. Let's see, purple, yellow, red, pink, orange, and black. Those are the primary colors for me. But if you guys want to change things up and change some of the colors on the piece, please feel free to do so. Now, I'm going to be raffling this painting off. Okay, I will be shipping it to somebody whose name I'm going to be pulling out of a cup or a hat, etc. I'll be doing that live on my page sometime by end of next weekend. I'll announce it. I'll let everybody know when it's coming. I'll do the video live. But for you to enter the raffle, the raffle is for those of you that decide to send me a tip. Any of you that send a tip, $5 or more, you're going to be entered into that raffle. For every multiple of 5, so 5, 10, 15, every multiple of 5, that's how many times you get entered into the raffle. In the description for the video, I've got all the details for my virtual tip jar. Don't go doing it right now, not necessary. You're going to have till tomorrow to send your tip. But this is my virtual tip jar for those of you that might be interested. Okay, it's not necessary. Please don't worry about it. You can't, no big deal. This is just for those of you that would like. I've got a Venmo, I've got a PayPal, and I've got a Zelle. All of this information, I'll show it again later, is in the description of the video. Again, for those of you that might be interested in winning today's painting, this guy right here, I'm going to, for every $5 that you tip, you'll be entered into the raffle, and I will ship this to some winner whose name I'm going to pull out of a cup. I'll talk about that again later. Don't worry about that too much. We're going to get moving here pretty good. What's up, Heather Wollstonecroft from Australia? She said good morning from Australia. Awesome. Chiquita Fountain, hello, what's happening? Rosemarie Alonso's back. Fantastic. Awesome, awesome. So, got a whole bunch of you on here right now. I'm sure we're going to get quite a few more right as everything starts. Let's see if there's any question. Jasmine Villalobos from Arizona. Arizona's in the house. Fantastic. Catherine Rosnack. Let's see. Amanda Duke from Louisiana. How's it going? You're going to try this on your iPad Pro. Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah, guys, you can use whatever you've got. If you don't have any acrylic paints and you have water paints, or you've got markers, or you've got colored pencils, that's what you're going to use. Okay? Don't stress about what it is that you're doing. The main thing is the drawing part of it. If you've got that down, then you've got everything else. You can always, improvise the other stuff later. Again, for those of you that are just joining us, it is 4 o'clock. We're going to get moving here pretty quickly. This is what you're going to need today. Pencil with an eraser. Okay? You're going to need something to paint on. I'm going to be using a 16 by 20 inch canvas, just like on the original. Okay, 16 by 20 inch canvas is what I'm going to be using. However, whatever you've got, that's what you use. If you've got a different size canvas, if you've got a piece of paper, etc., that's what you'll be using. Now, for those of you that emailed me for the stencils, I sent you guys out 3 stencils, 1 for each head, and then a fourth one for the little cauldron on the bottom. Now, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to draw this for those of you that don't have the stencils. Okay, if you want the stencils, email me. I'll send those to you, and you can do this video at a later time. This video will be available for those of you who would like to come back and watch it later tonight, tomorrow, etc. The video will be available at least till the end of the month. Okay, right here on Facebook Live. Also, folks, do not click on any links that you see in the comments that supposedly are taking you to the live view of this. Please do not click on those. Those are scammers. I've been dealing with those for quite a few weeks, and every time I have an event, they come on here trying to lure you guys to another website to charge you money, maybe steal some of your information. I don't know. Please do not click on any links in the comments. You guys can say hello to each other in the comments. You guys can say hello to me. Please do so. I'd appreciate that. And then, post questions and things like that, but do not click on any links. So, I've got some brushes I'm going to be using. I'll go over the brushes here in a little bit. Got a basic set of synthetic bristle brushes. I'm working with acrylic paint. I've got a cup with some water in it. If it's your first time painting with acrylic paints, that's how you want to set up your brushes. Water cup, a little bit of water in there, and then your brushes are going to sit in there as we're painting. In between steps, your brushes go back into that cup so they don't dry out. Colors, really quick, once again, colors. I've got some pink, I've got some red. The pink's for my background. You can use whatever background color you want. Light blue, light purple. I recommend that it's a light color so you can see your pencil marks when we trace out or draw the girls' heads, the Sanderson sisters' heads, okay? The wording, the bats, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to do that. Don't stress too much on that. I know it can be kind of fancy, but hopefully we'll get through that, no problem. I believe in you guys. I've got some orange, I got some black, purple, yellow. Once again, red. Let's start with pink, orange, black, purple, yellow, and red. Those are my primary colors. You guys can use whatever colors you've got. I do have some glitter that I'm going to be applying to my piece at the very end. These are glitter, basically it's glitter floating around in glue. If you guys don't have any of this, don't worry about it. You can always pick some of this up later and apply it tomorrow, the next day, etc. All right? Okay, so here we go. Let's get moving. I'm going to switch everything to the front. I'm going to bring the camera in close, nice and tight. So get ready, guys. Do some stretches. Do some deep breathing, whatever it is it's going to take to get you guys to relax a little bit. I want you guys to have some fun. The main thing in all of this is to have fun. And then most of the time, as long as you're having fun and enjoying the process, you typically end up with something that you're happy with. Okay, so you guys are going to be following along with me. I'll do a step up here, and then you guys do the step after me. Just want to emphasize at the beginning, we're going to work on the background color. I'm going to be sticking with my pink, but you can use whatever color you'd like. Whoops, moving the camera around. All right, I'm going to move the camera forward, so don't get dizzy on me. I got to prepare this nicely so everything's in view. Let me see here. Okay, cool. So again, and as necessary, I'll move the camera in, folks. I'll move the camera in or slightly back, just depending on what we're doing. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to color in the entire background. Before we do our traces, we're going to color in the entire background, all one shot. Okay, so that's what we're doing first. Then we're going to come in and do our tracing or drawing, if you're drawing with me, for the heads. Okay, after that, we're going to come in and add some color to those heads, and then we're going to get to drawing some of the stuff, some of the words, the cauldron, the bats. We'll come back, add another layer of paint to the heads, come back and do some touch up on our wording and the cauldron, the bats. By that point, our heads will be dry. We can add glitter to them, etc., etc., etc. If you guys, a couple of things I want to mention before we get moving. If you cannot finish with me today, for whatever reason you start, you can't finish, I do want to remind everyone that the video will be available for you to watch it later here on Facebook on my Painting with Jesse page. Okay? So, are we ready? Are we ready? I've got my friend Ariel Betancourt that is going around in the comments answering questions for some of you. She's helping me out and being an admin for today. So I appreciate Ariel. Thank you so much for being here. Makes things a little easier on me. Let me lower this a tad. There we go. Here we go. So in a bit, I will, actually, let me see if I can move it over a little bit to get more of our, all right, here we go. Everything's in view now. Fantastic. Okay, guys, so let's get to painting. Like I mentioned, first we're going to cover that background. I'm using this really light pink. We're probably going to take a couple of coats to get everything really nice and even and smooth. Okay, but you don't want to make this coat too thick, because when we trace in the girls, the drawing part of this, it may be a little bit difficult. So I've got my brushes right here. I've got this really big 2-inch brush sitting in my water cup. This is what I'm going to start with because I've got a really big canvas. This brush makes it easy to cover a lot of ground very quickly. You also want to have some paper towels. Paper towels, very handy to clean up messes, but they also help me do this. Squeeze out any extra water from these brushes. Okay, so here we go. Get right to it. This is a boxing match. This will be round 1. Okay, here we go. Ding ding. Brush, big brush. When you paint your canvas, you can go across long, smooth brush strokes, or you can do long, smooth brush strokes up and down, or you can use this kind of a crisscross pattern. Any one of those will be just fine. And if I knock anything over, it sometimes happens, I will pick it back up and we'll get going. But yeah, if you see me knock anything over, it's part of the admission. All included admission, which is free, right? So here we go. Let's cover up that background. You want to do the entire canvas, and again, whichever type of brush stroke you want to use, whether long horizontal ones or long vertical ones or little short ones like this, it's up to you. But each one of them does have a slightly different type of finish. The long brush strokes, whether they're vertical or horizontal, gives you a cleaner, smoother finish. Okay, however, these little short ones hide blemishes, hide some of the marks and stuff that you might leave with your pencils a little bit easier. So I'm going to stick with this one, especially when we get to the writing and stuff like that. If we have to go back and touch something up, this just helps me cover those up. They're harder to see any blemishes that might stick to the canvas later on. Okay, so again, whatever you decide to use is up to you. Those are the 3 methods that I would recommend. You pick one of those and go with it. Again, long brush strokes all the way up and down, or or long brush strokes vertically, or these shorter crisscross more random ones. That's what I used on the original. Okay, this one over here. All right, in a little bit I'm going to turn on some music. It's got to be copyright free music, so it's not anything super popular. But if I use any music, any popular music, any music that anybody knows, Facebook bans my video. They'll stop the video part way, and we don't want that to happen. So in a little bit I'll find some music to play too. But I'll do that, and I'll look at the comments here after I'm done painting this background. Again, folks, in a bit, in between, after this step, while you guys are catching up, I'm going to go through the comments and see if there's any questions or anything like that. I can already anticipate that some of you are asking if this video will be available afterwards. Yes, the recorded version of this will be available for you guys to come back and watch at a later time. Okay? The benefit of that video, of those, is that you can kind of pause and back it up and things like that, but it's not as fun, right? It's not live. You can't ask questions, that kind of stuff. You can't say hello. And on that note, I know some of you have already said hello to all you. I'll go through those comments and try to say hello to some of you directly. I don't always see all the comments. They fly by pretty fast, and there's only so much that I can back up in that comment feed. So if I miss your hello or your question, etc., you can always come back and ask it again, say hello again. The further down in the video you do it, the more likely it is that I'm going to see it. All right. So here's the other thing I'd like to recommend to you guys. If you're painting on a canvas like I am, it's kind of nice. It's up to you. You don't have to do this, but you can paint the edges of your canvas. This gives it a cool little look, especially if you hang it up on a wall. I know some people like to leave the edges white. Entirely up to you. I like to paint mine, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I know a lot of you on here today are probably pretty new to painting, so this is going to be a little bit of a slower step for you. Try to keep up. Okay, got a bunch of new people, got a bunch of novices or newer people painting along. That always is part of it, right? These are meant for everyone, all levels, etc. But don't stress too much. Try to keep up. Watch what I do. You'll learn as much from me by watching me than you will by listening to me. Okay, the process is pretty quick. So here's my first coat for my background. You can't really tell on camera probably, but it's not perfectly even. There's different levels of paint throughout. Some areas look a little bit more intense than others. This is only the first layer of paint. So, whoops, and I got a little bit of orange on my brush now, so I'm gonna have to clean that up. But I will leave this for now, and I'm also not doing the very bottom edge underneath it. I'll do that at the very end. If I do it now, it's going to stick to, the canvas will stick to my easel. Okay? So, as you guys are working on that, let me go through some of the comments. Ask your questions. What's up, Donna Baker? Carrie Louise Lepper, this is so cool. Thank you for being here. Valerie Jurado, hello. Cynthia Enriquez Smith. Oh my God, it's making a witch. The witch sister, I'm not sure what the comment is, but all right. Elizabeth York, I'm watching, but at work. Next time I hope to be a participant. Have fun all. Thank you, Elizabeth. So again, guys, if you don't have any questions, if you don't have any, if you don't have the stencils and you would like them, you can send me an email at paintingwithjesse. Exactly how all that's spelled out. Painting with Jesse, spelled Jesse @gmail.com, and I will get those out to you. Again, the stencils for the heads, the sisters. Okay, the stencils for the sisters. I don't know how many. I probably had like 400 emails come in for these guys, and I sent them out. But today has been a rough one. Last night was the cutoff, just because I didn't want to spend all day today sending those out, right? I got a bunch of stuff to prep and things like that. So anyway, if you need those and would like those, send me an email. I'll get those out to you. Okay? So at the beginning of the session, right before 4 o'clock, I mentioned I have a virtual tip jar. For those of you that might be interested, you can help me support. You can help me by supporting the page a bit. It makes it, so that I can continue doing this, which, I'm hoping so many of you. It seems that so many of you are enjoying and having fun with, and I totally appreciate you guys being here. For those of you that can and are able to, I have a virtual tip jar. I've got a Venmo. All this information is in the description of the video, so don't go looking for it now, no big deal. You can always look for it later, or you can maybe take a screenshot of the screen right now. I've got Venmo, I've got PayPal, and I've got Zelle. Okay, I'm going to sweeten the pot a little bit for those of you. And you can tip whatever you want: $1, $5, $15, whatever it is that you can afford. It's up to you guys, and not necessary. Just something that helps me. It helps me to continue doing this. But I'd like to sweeten the pot, so to speak, for those of you that donate $5 or more. Tip $5 or more for every multiple of 5, so 5, 10, 15, you'll get an entry into the raffle. I'm going to be picking a winner sometime by the end of next weekend. One of you is going to take this painting home, this awesome glittery, did I mention this glitter? This piece right here. I'll be shipping this to you free of cost. But your entry is the raffle. Tipping $5 or more, again, for every multiple of 5. So let's say, for example, you tip $10, that's 2 ballots, right? 2 tickets. $15 is 3 tickets. Anyway, I'll pull the name out of a hat. I'll do it live. I'll have everybody's name that tipped. I'll do it live, and one of you gets to take that home. For those of you that are interested. All right, everyone. So as I was sitting there talking, this is sitting here drying, right? And I'm assuming that most of you at home are already finishing up. Send me some thumbs up letting me know that you're good to go to the next step, okay? So again, let me know that you're ready to go to the next step by putting some thumbs up, some of those emojis where I'll see those pop up in the feed, okay? All right. Giselle Torres from Puerto Rico, what's happening? Let's see. Who else is on here? I think these comments are flying by pretty quickly. Okay, again, guys, give me some thumbs up letting me know. I know not everybody's ready to go to the next step, but start letting me know that you are good to go, and we will move on here. You guys got about a minute to before we go to the next step. And let me see if I can check out some of these comments in here. Again, guys, you're going to want to email me, okay? Email me at paintingwithjesse@gmail.com to get those stencils. What's up, Micaela? What's going on, Mija? How are you? Awesome that you're painting along. Sandra Martinez, Josie Moreno, Cassie Marat, I think. Luke and Cassie, how's it going, guys? Carrie Lewis says, nervous, LOL. Don't be nervous, guys. Don't be nervous. Just have some fun with this. And if for whatever reason you feel like you need to come back and do it again, right? The video is going to be available at least till the end of the month. So there's that. All right, guys. So here we go. Here we go. We're going to be doing a little bit of tracing now, or a little bit of drawing. Now, my canvas isn't completely dry just yet. It will get dry here pretty fast. I'm going to do the tracing. I'm going to go ahead and start drawing the heads here in a moment. But I want to give you guys some tips. Yes, for the majority of you right now, your background is still a little bit wet. No big deal. The traces that I sent out, you're going to find your spot. You're going to put them down. Maybe whoever's there with you, if you're painting with somebody, they'll help you. Because the background is dry, if you don't get the right position, you can pick it up and move it again, right? Let's say, for example, and again, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to draw this in a moment, but I just want to point this out for those of you that got the stencils. Okay, you're going to want to do this, and then you're going to trace it out. When you put your stencil on the canvas, or when you draw with me, you want to make sure you leave enough room underneath for your writing, for the cauldron, the bat, or anything else that you're going to be putting down there. Okay, so once again, you want to leave enough space, whatever it is that you're painting or drawing this on, you're going to want to leave enough space. So you would start with this head first, the one in the middle, and maybe you want to, if you're painting on a table, you want to put them all up on your canvas now just to see what they would look like but you want to go ahead and start tracing those. Okay, so that's how you would do that with the traces. Have whoever's there with you helping you out. If you're drawing this with me, we're going to start with this head right here. Get your pencils ready, and yes, your background might be a little bit wet. Don't worry about it. It's going to be a little bit difficult for you to see my pencil marks. I'm going to outline them. Once I've got the pencil marks in place, I'm going to move this forward now so you guys can better see what I'm doing. Once I've got the pencil marks in place, I'm outlining mine with black. You will not be doing that step. The only reason why I'm outlining in black is so those of you at home can see what I'm doing. Okay, again, about the middle is where you're going to want, doesn't have to be perfectly in the middle, is where you want that middle head. So here we go. Get your pencils ready. So the head in the middle, we're going to draw a line right down the center. This line on my 16 by 20 inch canvas is about 3, maybe 3.5 inches approximately. Okay, and what that is from the bottom here to the top, right in between the center. That's what that is, a little line. I'm basically splitting the head in half. So we're not going to get fancy with this. I don't need to make all those little curls or anything like that. I just need the general shape. Those curls can be added later with a brush, right? Or even with a pencil. For now, I just want the general shape. And the general shape goes up, okay, a little bit. And then you can start bringing it down. Curved, slightly curved. Your curve's going to come around, kind of like this. So that curve comes down to about where this line ends. About. Right, so you kind of bring it down, you curve it, and it stops right about where that line ends. We're going to do that same thing to the other side. And if anybody's keeping track, this is a boxing match. This is round 2. All right, round 2. Rounds go by pretty quickly around here. So coming up over the other side, comes down. Again, this is just a general shape. We're going to be making adjustments to this a little bit later, adding the curlies and such. And they're about the same thickness, so kind of do this. And if you need to make a little adjustment, go ahead and do it. So you would ignore this pencil line in there. Don't worry about that pencil line. Worry about the one on the outside. Both sides are pretty symmetrical, so one side is about as thick as the other. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys about 30 seconds to catch up with that. Let me look at the comments, see how everybody's doing. And I'm also verifying that you can see what I'm doing. Looks like it's pretty clear. Hopefully you guys can all see it. But all right, let's see. Let's see if we can catch up on some of these comments here. Yes, you can use tape. You can use tape if you want. Let's see. Jesse Morgan Spans, hello, thank you for coming back. Yeah, Hocus Pocus is pretty awesome, huh? Scott Eckroat, hello from Cleveland, Ohio, hello to you. What's up, Gina? You got yourself a Winnie costume, huh? Awesome. Berlin in San Diego, what's happening? Okay, so you got the head, you got the outside, you got the tops. Right down in here, you're gonna make the little forehead, the top of the head, right? Right. This is the brow line, if you will. Her forehead, where her hair comes down, meets the forehead. Nice little line that goes across, and then from there you're gonna bring it down a little bit. Okay, you're going to do the same thing over here. Bring it down. Maybe it doesn't have to be perfectly straight. It can be a little curved. Almost like we're doing, looks like a little bit like an old school football helmet right now. At least this part does. And then from right here, we bring this down and connect the two together. Okay, same thing on this side. As we're doing this, our background continues to dry. Okay, and I'll talk about that here in a moment. I'll explain why that's important. Okay, but as of right now, as we're drawing this, or if you're tracing this, the background paint is beginning to dry. Some of these spots are already completely dry. So there's this head done. Take a look at it, take a little step back, take a look at it, make little adjustments if you need to. Again, once we cover this with paint, that's when we're going to come in and add the little curlies. The little curlies on the edges. For now, all you need to worry about is the general shape of that head. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys about a minute to catch up with this, and then we're going to head on over and do the left side. This one right here. We're going to leave the other one for last. This is what we're going to do next. If you're tracing these, continue your tracing. If you're tracing these and you finish, take a look at your background and then add some more paint. Add another layer of paint to your background. Okay? We're going to do that all together once I'm done with the drawing part of it. But I want to make sure that you guys have plenty of time to draw this. So here we go. Let me look at the comments one more time. And then we're going to get going. Margie Herreras, yes, the video will be posted later. Okay. What's up, Hannah? Hannah Herrera, how's it going? Welcome back. Whole bunch of regulars on here. Fantastic. Carrie Louise Leper says having some wine and beer and having fun. If I had money to tip you, I would tip you. Don't worry, guys. It's not necessary. For those of you that can and are able to, absolutely. Remember the raffle, $5 gets you a ticket. For every $5, you get a ticket to enter the raffle where somebody gets to take this painting home. I'll ship it to you. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Let me emphasize. If you're in the United States, if you're in Canada, and I know Puerto Rico is part of the United States, but I think it's considered, for as far as shipping, you're shipping across the ocean, so that makes it a little different. If somebody from Puerto Rico or Canada happens to win, I'll have to figure out how to get the painting to you, or maybe we'll find some other way to get you a reward. But for now, anybody that's in the United States, in the actual states. Okay, and I say that because I know Puerto Rico is a Commonwealth. If I'm not, at least that's what I understand. Correct me if I'm wrong. All right, guys, here we go. Over to the left, we got a long. So now this head is slightly at an angle, right? Slightly, it's not up here, or it could be. You can put it wherever you want, right? Maybe your head's down here and it's straighter. Up to you. Make the decision time. What we're gonna do right here is we're gonna take this same thing that we did in the middle. We're splitting the head down the middle, slightly at an angle. The forehead, this part, the brow line, the bangs drops a little bit lower than on the one in the middle. Okay. Once you find your point here at the bottom, we're just going to go ahead and draw that little line slightly at an angle like this. In this case, we're going to come down on each side just a little bit. Slightly different than what we did with the other one. Okay, and then we bring those back up. Okay, give you guys a moment to catch up with that. Monica Hemmond from Rhode Island. What's happening? Hello. Giselle Torres. Hello from New York City. What's happening in New York City? Let's see. A lot of people from Puerto Rico today. Fantastic. Just going through the comments. And here we go. Let's see. Tina Lang is back. How's it going? Heather Wollstonecraft, absolutely fantastic. And folks, for those of you that don't know, if it's your first time here on this page, I got a bunch of videos that are available for you to go out and watch whenever you'd like. A bunch of, maybe 30, 35 videos now. Started this way back in, I think it was late March, early April, can't remember now. All right, so here we go. Actually, here on this side of the head, I'm gonna curve it out a little bit. It's gonna come up, over. So, obviously the little point up here ends up in a little bit of a curl, so I'm going to go ahead and make the little point for that. This is all very loose. Might have to make some adjustments here in a little bit. But right up here, we're going to curl this over. Again, this is for those of you that are drawing along with me today. Whoops, and I'm moving my camera around. Let me go ahead and put that back. While you guys are working on that, I'm going to lower my light a little bit. Okay, so So this one's pretty basic. This one's already done. For the most part, this is done. You can go through and make some little adjustments here. Maybe add a little more curves. Maybe the forehead has some little lines in it. Same with this one here. Little curls in the forehead. We're gonna add little curlies here later. Don't worry about that for now. Okay, you guys got about a minute, and then we're moving on over to this one. For those of you that don't know, tomorrow we're doing this one. We're doing Jack and Sally. I'm going to be teaching you guys everything on how to draw this. The event is up on the Facebook page, so you guys, for those of you that are interested, please look for that. I'll be teaching you guys every step on how to draw this piece. Okay, so be ready for that. And then we're going to paint it. But every single step right there. I know, kind of scary, but most definitely a lot of fun. Okay, let's go to the other side now. So we got this head right here. If you notice, her head is narrower than the other two by a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna start again. Right down the middle, we split it down the middle a little bit. This line is gonna be a lot shorter. Okay, about like that. Maybe a little bit longer. Then you're gonna come over. We're gonna go over the top. I'm gonna make a nice kind of an ovalish shape to make it a little bit easier. From here, I'm just gonna bring my pencil line down. It's gonna go all the way down here. Curls up a little, comes back. Okay, I'm gonna wait for you guys to catch up a little on that. So there are no stencils for Jack and Sally, but I did attach the actual picture of that original painting in the event page. For those of you who would like, you could print it out and then cut out whatever you need. If you want a cutout of Sally, if you want to cut out of Jack, maybe you just want to cut out of the heads, Oogie Boogie, etc. Feel free to print that out and cut those out, okay? I am going to be teaching you guys the drawing steps, but definitely on that. Okay, so right down here, let me make sure that everything's in shot. I'm actually able to see, I am, okay. So from here, just gonna come up, curve in a little bit, back up, and everybody's hair is gonna be a little different, so don't stress out if it doesn't look just like mine. And that goes for anything on this painting. Here at the top, this is gonna come over, drops down a little bit like this. Okay. And I can already see this head's a little bit wider than on the original. I can always adjust it later, but I'm not too worried about that right now. Okay, what I am going to do now is come on over like this. This side of her hair doesn't go down as far as the other side. Kind of curves back up. Just like that. When you're all done with this, take a look at it. Look at all your heads. Make sure the position is where you'd like for them to be. Okay, make little tiny adjustments to the hair if you'd like. Don't add any of the curlies just yet. No big deal. We're going to add those later. What you are going to do right now, in about a minute, we're going to do another background. We're going to color the background again. And this time, actually I was going to say I was going to switch brushes, but I don't think so. I think I'm going to stick with my large brush. Let me load up on some pink again so that we can get going on that. We do take our time with this, folks. Everybody paints at a different pace, so try to keep up. You know, don't fall too far behind. Also, we can't rush this. We take our time. If we, you know, if you happen to be going a little bit on the faster side, or you're a little on the impatient side, and it happens, everybody has a different personality. Be aware again that the video will be available later for viewing, so you guys can always come back to that. And then, if you're falling behind, try to keep up like I mentioned. Do your best. But what we're going to do now is we're going to add another layer of paint around the heads, right? We're not going to cover what we did with the pencil marks. Be careful with your... I've got a little bit of orange paint on my brush, so let me clean that up a little. I accidentally dipped the brush into the orange. Which makes for kind of a cool effect, but I want my background to be nice and pink. So big brush is going through here, and work kind of quickly. Don't make this layer too thick. Once again, you don't want this to be too thick. So what happens on this second layer, everything starts to get nice and even. And I know you guys can see I've got a little bit of orange in the paint. Like I said, I accidentally mixed some orange in there. I'm not too concerned about that. If I was, I'd go through there and remove that paint, but it's no big deal. But if you guys are seeing some of that orange paint, that's why that's there. So little tiny orange spots in my background. I'll try to blend those in. No big deal, like I said. But just cover everything around the heads. If you need to and you're working with this really big brush, do all the big areas first. Big areas of the canvas first, and then come back with a little brush and work your way around the edges of the heads. Okay? So, and again, I'm not seeing any right now. Who knows, maybe there are some and I just missed them. But if you see any links in the comments section telling you, hey, come watch the live feed here, come watch it over here, do not click on those. Those are scammers trying to get you guys to go somewhere else. Trying to take your credit card information. I do appreciate some of you that are interacting in the comments, answering other people's questions if you know the answer. Some of you read all the comments and discussions, things like that were going on the event page over the past few days, especially the last couple of days, a lot of activity. So some of you read all my comments or my responses to people, so you know the answer to some of the questions that are coming up. If you know the answer to a question, feel free to answer it. I do appreciate the assistance. Just make sure that it's the right answer. All right, only answer if you know for sure. But I do appreciate the interaction. It's hard to keep up with all the questions that do pop up. So here we go, folks. Just again, the second layer is making things nice and even, making everything a smoother finish, giving everything in the background a smoother finish. In just a moment, I'm going to switch over to a small brush. I'm almost done with all the large parts. But I want to go over to a small brush so that I can work my way around the Sanderson sisters' heads. Notice I'm holding my brush. I've mentioned that there are clues in, not just in what I say, right? You can learn a lot from what I tell you, but how I hold the brush, the brush strokes that I use, that kind of stuff. All right, there we go. Now I'm switching over to I've got this, this is a 1/2 inch synthetic bristle brush. I pick up my brushes, most of the time I get them from Michael's, for those of you that have Michael's nearby, but I do also pick them up at Hobby Lobby, Walmart's, especially since COVID. Walmart's selection of brushes selection of art supplies in general has really kicked up a notch. Joann's, Amazon. Anyway, synthetic bristle brushes. These are, you can also use all-purpose brushes. These are easy to clean, easy to work with. So here we go. Just using this smaller brush to work my way around the heads. And you notice I work rather quickly. Don't have to be super meticulous with this. I've been painting for quite a few years, so I'm real familiar with how the paint works and stuff. So, right, but for some of you that are newer, I know you're taking your time probably. Don't worry too much, but again, try to stay up. That way you don't fall too far behind. All right, that's pretty much all of that. I'm going to take a little step back. From time to time, take a step back, look at your piece from a distance, make sure you're not missing anything. Maybe down here, for example, I didn't get all the way out to my edges. So give me your favorite Hocus Pocus quote. Put it in the comments for me. I know we got a whole bunch of Hocus Pocus fans on here. Give me your best quote in the comments. You can also, of course, use your quote, right? Maybe if it's small enough or you got enough space on your canvas, you can use that as the writing on your painting. You don't have to write Hocus Pocus like I did. Now, I know you guys don't have the stencils for the writing or the bats or the broom. I will be teaching all of that. All right, guys, give you guys about 2 minutes to get done with that, and then we're moving on to the next step. Don't forget, the video will be available later, tomorrow too, for those of you who'd like to come back and do it, or you fall behind, or you can't continue finishing with me today or with us. You can always come back and continue where you left off. So no stress environment. I want you guys to have some fun. And then, guys, I'm gonna ask for those of you that have been painting with me for a while, you already know. I like to request that you guys send me pictures of your paintings. So you can send them to me directly on Messenger under Painting with Jesse, or you can put them here in the comment section to the live video or to the video itself. You can always come back to it later and add your picture in the comments. I probably prefer if you send them to me directly on Messenger because it's easier for me to see them. Oftentimes in the comments, most of the time Facebook doesn't alert me when there's a comment in these videos, so I don't get an alert for it, and I'll have to come back looking for stuff, and then I'll find people's pictures that they posted, you know, a day or two or three, or sometimes even a week before. So if you guys can, send them to me on Messenger, okay? If you guys want to take pictures of yourselves holding your paintings, even better. But if you just want to send me pictures of your masterpieces when you're all done, fantastic. All right, guys, so here we go. Here's what we're going to do next. We're going to start with Winnie's head. A little bit of orange. And I got this really bright orange. And we're gonna work in layers on these heads. First layer is going to be like our background. It's not going to be a really even finish. And maybe you don't want an even finish, right? If you add some textured brush strokes in there using different thicknesses of paint, you're going to get a really cool texture. What I'm doing is I'm taking a 1/2 inch brush here, so get your 1/2 inch or anything close to this. Okay, as long as you got something close to this, you're just going to grab some paint and go directly to your paint, and then grab it kind of thick like this. And we're going to do this. Again, right now I'm not worried about the curlies. If you drew this with me, you don't have any curlies like I do. I don't have any either. We'll add those here in a while with our little skinny brush. If you drew it, if you used a trace and drew it on, traced it on, well, fantastic. Do the big part of the head first, so on the inside. Don't worry about the curlies until you switch over to a smaller brush. Use the big brushes to cover the larger areas of your painting. And see how I'm doing this? Now check this out. I'm not sitting there doing long brush strokes. I could on this first layer if I wanted. Because it's the first layer and doesn't require a whole lot of texture, I could do this and make long, smooth brush strokes to cover everything quickly. But on the second or third layer, if your painting requires one, you're going to want to do little short brush strokes like this. That's what's going to give her curly head. She's got kind of a wavy, thick, even curly hair in some parts. It's going to give it thickness. So whatever you decide to do right now, you can do a smooth layer and then later come back and do these little choppy short strokes, or you can start with these now. Kind of like this. I'll remind you, whichever brush stroke you use right now, I'll remind you. And then work kind of quickly. Don't worry about this first layer too much. Just get enough coverage to cover the entire area of the head. But don't worry about it being perfect or all one color, etc. The color will start to improve with the second layer, second and third layer. It just depends also on the type of paint that you're using. Okay? So, all right, while you guys work on that for a little bit, let me cue up some music. Now, again, this is not popular music. This is music that I have to use because it's not copyrighted music. If I use copyrighted music from anyone popular, Facebook flags my video and will take it off. So that's why we use this stuff. I'm gonna try to keep it kind of low. Okay, so once you've done this with the big brush, you can take a little brush, a little skinny thing. Let's lower it down a little bit, a little too loud. Using a little brush to kind of go into the smaller areas of the head. And I can also start coming out to the edges with this and start to form some of the little edges here like this for the little curlies. Here for the little outer parts of her head. These little tiny curls that stick out of her head. All the way around. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys about a minute or so on this, and then we're going to move on to the next head. Okay, so take a moment there to catch up with that. Yes, guys, I see somebody's question about the live videos. All the live videos that I've done so far are available for you guys to go back and watch. Eventually I'll start moving them off the page, but for now they're all available. You can go back and watch any of the videos that I've got and paint along with them if you'd like. So in a moment we're going to start over on Mary, okay? The purple-haired one. Okay, purple or dark blue or whatever it is, and probably either one would work. So I've got some really deep purple that I'm going to be using for mine, right? So whatever color that's close to that you've got, you can use. You can also make purple if you've got blue and red. So, but anyway, guys, hope you're having some fun. Relax a little bit with this. You hope you're relaxing somewhat. I find the best time for me to create, or the best paintings that I make, are typically when I'm more relaxed. So I'm hoping you guys are relaxing through all of this and trying to enjoy yourselves. Sometimes painting can be a little stressful because everybody wants to create something really nice and neat and beautiful. But, whoops, let me move the camera back a touch. Sorry about that. But I like to recommend that you guys relax, have some fun. Before we start painting Mary, I'm just going to make some adjustments to the light back here. Notice it's a little dark in here, or it feels like it's dark, at least from my point of view. So here we go, some purple, same brush. I just cleaned up my brush a little bit. And again, guys, if you're new to acrylic painting, in between steps, you want to keep your brushes sitting in water. You don't want the acrylic paint to dry. So in between steps, like the big brush that I just used, it goes right back into that cup and it's sitting in water. And also, you guys may notice that my pink on this new painting is darker than the one over here. It's richer than this one, right? Just a choice that I made to change the color up a little bit. I was thinking of even doing light blue, but decided against it at the last minute. But that's what the color difference is for. So now I'm taking this big 1/2-inch brush, again the same one that I used for the first head. Whoops, let me see. For Winnie's head. And I'm adding some of this purple. Now this purple that I've got, this paint that I'm using, is a bit on the transparent side, so this one most definitely is going to need another layer of paint. But for now, all I'm worried about is making sure that I got complete coverage on the entire drawing or trace. And then we'll move on to the next head while this one dries, and we'll come back and add another layer to it. But I hope some of you guys join me for Jack tomorrow. Jack and Sally. That one's going to be a lot of fun. Supposedly we got something like 2,000 people interested in, not interested, 2,000 people that claim they're coming. I know we won't get that many, but it's going to be a big crowd. So we're going to have a party on a Friday night, Friday evening. Okay, switched over to my little brush. I'm just going to come in here and do the little curl on top of the head. Again, folks, on this first step, on this first layer of paint, I'm not too worried about how even the color is or anything like that. I'm just simply trying to get my layer of paint onto the drawing, under the head here, and then we move on. Using my little skinny liner brush for this. A little tiny, looks almost like a pen or a pencil. This helps me for the detail. And again, look how I hold the brush, nice and loose. I'm not sitting up here in the front trying to get super tight with this. Nice and loose, nice and easy. All right, work on that for a moment. We're gonna do Sarah's hair in a moment. Let me take a look at some of the comments. Chastity Hensley, awesome. So you guys like the sugar skull, huh? Yeah, that one was a lot of fun. Last week, I'm trying to remember the day now. It might have been Thursday or Friday. For those of you that are interested in sugar skulls, this one has a more of a theme to it. We did this last week. The tutorial is still up. This is actually a Mexican loteria. It's kind of a similar like to bingo. To a bingo game, except there's pictures and the names of the pictures involved. But we turned this one, La Calavera, which is basically the skull, we turned that into a sugar skull. I show you guys how to do everything where you tape off the edges to make it look like a playing card, right? There's a bunch of cards, like a poker card almost. But anyhow, that video is still available. That's what Chastity's talking about. That one was a lot of fun to do too. Had a whole bunch of participants. So that video is still available for any of you that may want to go back and check it out. Okay, so Sarah's next. Same brush. I keep going back to that same half-inch brush. I'm going to clean it up a little bit because I just used purple with it. I want to clean it up really well. I want to remove as much of the purple as I can. So I just swirl it around my cup. I do this, swirl it around my water cup a few times. I use a paper towel, squeeze out any of that extra paint. If I try to use some of this brush with purple in it on my yellow, the purple's gonna overpower the yellow really quickly, and we don't want that to happen. We're gonna have purple yellow hair, and her blonde hair isn't gonna look as nice. So here we go. The yellow that I use is really transparent. If you're working with acrylic paint, it may be the same for you too. So once again, we're not super worried about making everything really uniform. You're not going to get that on the first layer. Not likely anyway. Just come in and quickly add your layer of paint. Again, watch how I do it. Even if you're early to it, you can early to painting. You can just simply watch what I'm doing, try to mimic me, and move on. There are clues everywhere. You will learn just as much by watching me, how I hold the brush, as listening to what I say. There we go. Okay. Because you ate all the candy, you wanker. Thank you, Max, for that marvelous introduction. So I'm just going through and reading some of your comments. I put a spell on you and now you're mine. That was hilarious. Anna Herrera. All pretty awesome ones. Let's see. So Amanda Shepard asks, is the glitter just sprinkled on the hair while paint is wet, or do we use a glitter paint? Fantastic question. So here, let me show you what I use while you guys are finishing the painting. So Michael's is where I typically pick these up, but Hobby Lobby has some similar stuff. I tend to like the Michael's stuff a little bit better. So I have these bottles of glitter. This is actually glitter floating around in glue, but you're gonna brush these on just like you do paint. Once the paint is dry, you can come over the top of these, over the top of the paint, with any color you want. Gold, pearl, red, blue, and I've got all kinds of these colors. But on the original piece, I'm using this really cool, we call it crystal color or pearl. I think it used to be called pearl, now they changed it to crystal, but it's basically the same thing. And so that's over all their heads, and then I have some red on their lips. But you spread it on just like you do paint. And the more you layer it, the more intense it gets. Not sure if you guys can see it, but I'll see if I can maybe, by moving the painting around, maybe you can see it. I got it on the cauldron, I got it on the wording, on the bats, and on the broom. So yeah, that's what that is, okay? All right, everyone. Give you guys about a minute, and then we're moving on. And what we're gonna do next is we're gonna start right up on the wording here. So you're gonna want to take a deep breath once we get going. When we're working on the wording and the cauldron and everything else, the heads are drawn. Then we'll come back and do another layer over the top of all this, the heads, to make them stand out a little bit more. We'll go back to working on the lettering and the cauldron and stuff. And then our heads probably will require at least a third layer before we add any glitter to it, for those of you who are gonna be adding glitter. All right, so there's that. You guys got a little bit more to go here before we start on that at the bottom. And if you guys are a little bit behind on the heads, don't worry too much. Try to catch up. Work your way quickly up to where we are. If you see me move on to the writing and stuff like that, follow along. You will be able to have time to go back and add more layering on the heads. Okay? So Margie Herrera says, another glorious morning makes me sick. Awesome quote. It's a boy, let me play with him. Yeah, that's a good one, Heather. That's hilarious. Gina Guzman, I put a spell on you. Now you're mine. So many awesome quotes in that movie. All right. We go back down and get back down to the comments. Let's see. Okay, guys, so I just want to show you guys what my painting looks like kind of up close. Very transparent paint, okay? Again, very kind of splotchy. I can see some of the pink of the canvas coming through in between some of the layers there. I'm not worried about that, okay? And I don't want you guys worrying about that right now, especially if you're new at painting. Oftentimes new painters get really caught up with that, and they're sitting there trying to layer the paint. They're putting thick paint over it, trying to make it all work, get even. It doesn't work like that. You got to wait for these layers to dry before you can come back and add another layer over them. So, okay, finish this up. We're moving on to the lettering. Okay, so what I want you guys to do and one thing that I always recommend before you actually start applying lettering, handwriting lettering onto your canvas, you want to practice on a piece of paper first, on a scratch piece. And what you do, so please pay attention to this, guys, please pay attention to this part, very important. What you'll do is you take your piece of paper and you want to note about how big your writing is going to be using that piece of paper, right? So the area that I want my writing in is right in here. So So I come over with my piece of paper and I can use my paper to gauge. So I can say I want my writing to go from here to here, right? About from here to here, from here to here. So that I can kind of use my paper to lightly mark in the edges. So that's about how long I want my writing to be, right? I'm gonna then put my writing on here. I'll practice on my piece of paper. Then when I come over here, I can bring the paper, hold it up against the canvas, and then use my paper as a kind of a guide. So, let me repeat that. I know some of you guys are nervous about this. So, you can bring your paper over like this. Your fresh paper, you don't have anything on it. Let me grab another one here. You come over to your canvas. And you go, okay, how big do I want my writing? How wide do I want it? And you can just do the same thing with the height. But primarily you want to concern yourself with the width of it, right? You'll say, okay, so I want my writing to go from here to here, or from here to here, or whatever length it is. But then you mark it off on your paper. These are the borders of where I want my writing to be. Okay? So for example, if I bring it over to the original painting and I kind of do this, gives me a visual on my paper of where I want that writing to go. Now what I'll do is I'll come in here and I'll practice my writing on here. So here's my H, and I'll darken this up in a little bit, folks. Go lightly. And we got an O, cursive O. Okay, goes right into that C. Notice I'm holding my pencil nice and light. I'm relaxed. I'm not sitting here trying super hard to get this right. This is my practice. And I've got a U. The C connects to my U. I've got a freestanding S over here. Curls under and goes back up. You can do this a few times, right? You can do this 5 times before you go to your canvas. My H has a little curly that goes underneath, comes back, and connects both sides of the H together. Okay, now I've got a broom in here. Nice straight line for my broom. Okay, that's the handle, and then I can draw the actual what's that part? The straw part of the broom. And what I can do to do that is I'm going to go like this, starting right here. I can start it like that. Again, this is your practice. You're practicing right now. Then this guy, that you make the broom a little bit thicker. Once you've done this a couple of times on your paper, you're going to feel much more relaxed about doing it on your piece. So I'm going to come down with a P. So Hocus Pocus, same amount of letters. Okay, so about the same amount of thickness. P's down in here. Nice and light. There's the top part of my P. Another cursive O. Erase a little bit on your practice. Erase. I want you to get comfortable with this. Do this a couple of times. Use your C. The only difference between the two words is what? The H and the P. Here's my U. Another S. This one doesn't have to be cursive. It can if you want it to be. Okay, now you can add the fancy stuff like the little curly over here on the P. Okay, the little curly over here on the S. I'm going to do this again in a moment. Okay, so you'll be able to watch me do it again. Once you've done this on your paper a couple of times, you can come over here and then, so your lettering is going to be, so this is where I want my lettering to be, about right here. And yours can be a little higher, yours could be a little lower. Don't stress too much about that. But I want my hocus in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my paper and I'm just going to drop it a little bit. Now I'm going to use this as my guide. H, O, C, U, S. Each letter goes right above the letter on my paper. Now when you do your broom next, right below that, then you would do pocus right below and they match up. Once you've got hocus in place, pocus comes easier. Okay? So practice that. You guys got about 2 minutes to practice that a little bit. Then you're gonna watch me do it here. That gives you another visual, and then you can do it on your own. Okay? So all right, let me look at these comments. Everybody take a deep breath. I know it's a little tough. Let's see. So here's my paper with the writing on it, okay? Hocus Pocus. And again, once you've got it on your paper, you can kind of move it around on your canvas to see where you want it. But you want to make it on your paper about the size that it's going to go on your canvas. So it gives you a good visual. You can also do this. How do I want my writing? Do I want it like this? Do I want it like this? Do I want it like this? Right? Do I want it here? Do I want it here? Also, when you do your writing, if you're going to be doing a cauldron, you want to make sure you leave some space for that. Okay? So, all right, work on that for about a minute, and then we move on. All right, let's see how far back in the... Sandra Esparza Ovale. Okay, so great question. She says, how do you clean acrylic brushes, or how do you clean up the brushes? All I'm going to do when I'm all done, I take these, I put them in the sink, I rinse them off with a little bit of water. As long as they've been wet the whole time, I've kept them in water inside my cup. The simple water, I use hot water, it'll remove all the paint. Okay? If you want to use a little bit of soap, you can. A little bit of dish soap will help remove any excess paint. But what you do at the end, when you've washed your brush, once you're all done, you want to take your fingers and do this. Straighten out the brushes, bring them back to their normal position, and then do not leave them in your brush pointed down. You want to put them in a cup. You want to put them in a cup with their bristles pointed up. If you leave them with the bristles down, the weight of the rest of the brush itself will slowly start to bend, make the bristles permanently bend. So you clean them up, put them back in your cup or wherever you store them with the bristles up. No weight on those bristles. Okay? All right, so here we go. Let's talk about that writing. Here we go. I've got my paper. I've got it on my paper. I'm happy. I got my broom in there. So I look around and go, okay, where do I want my Hocus Pocus to be? I want my Hocus to be right there. So once again, I take my paper. Since I want my writing to be there, I'm going to bring my paper down to give enough room to leave that room on top, create space for where I'm going to put the letters on. And then I just kind of use this as my guide. So here's my H. There's my O. There's my C. Right, I'm making my C, my O, my U, etc. about the same size, same shape, same height as what's on my paper. Okay, so there's my Hocus. My H has a little curly that comes off of this part, comes over. I'm going to use black paint to go over all of this. So, and then this C connects to that U. Okay, there we go. This is a cursive O that connects to the C also. And then I come in here and these H's have these little lines across the top and there. So there's my Hocus. Okay, there's my Hocus. So work on that for just a bit. Sorry guys, which part do you want to see? Let me bring it closer. I'm going to bring my camera closer then. Looks like maybe you guys are having some problems seeing what I've got. So, whoops, excuse me. There we go. Is that better? When I come in with the black ink, I'm going to be able to make the words a little bit bigger, a little bit thicker, in other words, the letters, the lines in those letters. Hopefully that's what you guys meant. Actually, I'm going to bring my camera forward even further. Okay, once I've got my letters in there, I'm going to go ahead and draw a nice little line underneath for my broom. And the broom's really close to the bottom of the word. It underlines the word. But I want a nice line that follows the same angle as my wording. So if your wording is whatever angle you're using for the wording, for the flow of the letters, you got a nice long line that goes across. Okay, and we'll leave it skinny. We'll try to darken this up a little so you guys have a better view of it at home. Okay. As we're working on this, what's happening with the heads? The paint on the heads, they're drying. Everything on those heads is drying. Okay, so here, bottom part of the broom, I'm going to draw a little triangle right here. Okay, and then a bigger triangle in the opposite direction. And I use my pencil to create these little lines to create the bottom of the broom. That's right, Berlin. The broom can be crooked. Absolutely, to make it you give up. Joanna, no worries. Don't stress, guys. Don't stress. You guys are okay. If you need to stop and come back later, please feel free to do so. I know there's a lot to kind of take in at one point, but try to stay here if you can. Try to stay throughout the whole process. Yeah, just like I said, enjoy it. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy the process. There's a little bit of patience involved, but you will be okay. All right, so we got Hocus, we got the broom in place. Now let's go to Pocus. And Pocus is basically, essentially the same thing, right? Except we got a P in the front, and that P can be really close to the broom. So we're going to start with that P. You want your words to be at the same angle, right? So right here, where the H is, the first part of the H, we can bring that line down a little bit. Continue down the line down below the broom. There's my P. There's my top of the P. I'm going to make these a little darker. Once I've got the lettering where I want, I'm going to make these a little bit darker so you guys can have a better view. Okay, here's my O. Connects to my C. My U. And then I've got my S. You can erase over paint as long as your paint is dry. You can do a little bit of erasing if you need to make some adjustments. Okay, and then on my P right here in the front, I can give it this little curly. All right, so work on that for a bit. Awesome idea, Melissa. I love that idea. Melissa said, I find it easy to write with chalk, then trace over it in pencil. Then you can just wipe the chalk away. That is fantastic. I love that idea. And I'm going to have to steal it. Stolen. There, done. Yeah, I definitely like that idea. You do it in chalk. Chalk easily wipes away once you're done with it. So chalk, pencil, if you like. As you're going with the chalk, if you don't like it, you can just erase it and do it all over again. But if you have it down and you like it, then you come in with pencil. Love it. All right, guys, work on that for a moment. What's up, Emmanuel? I think you're asking for the materials to paint with. What you can do for your materials, you can go and look at the event page. Under the details tab or the about tab, there's details in there that give you all the information regarding paint, colors, brushes, that kind of stuff. Okay, so yeah, if any of you are interested, all that information is up there. Okay, guys, so if you're done with your writing, if you're still working on the writing, it's okay. What you want to do is touch the paint on the sisters' heads, and if it's dry, you can go ahead and do another layer over the top of them. That's the next step. So as you finish with that writing, you do want to come over and start with Winifred first. Start with Winnie first because she's the first one and it's the most dry. Come in here, and now if on the first step you use a smooth brush stroke all the way across, now is when you want to start making this choppy. Okay, so it gives it depth and curls. Looks like she has some curls in there. All right. In just a moment, I'm going to switch to a really small brush to work the little curls in on the edges. And again, your heads may require a third layer. I'll probably end up doing a third layer here in just a bit. So I switched over to one of my got this little 1/4 inch brush, actually more like an 1/8 of an inch brush. And I'm just going to come over to the edges. And do this. I am simply touching the edges with this brush, and it creates those little wisps of hair that stick out of her head. All right. Next, we're going to be doing Mary. Watercolor pencils work too, says Heather Wollstonecraft. You know, I've never used watercolor pencils. I've heard they're pretty awesome. I'll have to give those a shot one of these days. But yeah, if you're having success with those, fantastic. Shannon Baker says it's just Hocus Pocus. That's right. It's a glorious morning, says Brittany Kirkland. Dan Velasquez says, go to hell. Oh, I've been there, thank you. I found it quite lovely. Yeah, that's a good one. That is a good one. Okay, so let's work on the other heads. Now I'm going back to purple. I have this little 1/4 inch brush that I haven't used yet. The sizes that I'm using vary depending on the area of the painting that I'm working with. So these smaller brushes, right, work with the smaller areas. It's kind of a no-brainer a bit, but I've been painting for a while, so maybe for me it's a no-brainer, and For those of you that are newer going, well, can I use a big brush for the small areas? You can if you've got really steady hands and you're really careful. The bigger the brush, the smaller the area. If you're using a big brush, it makes it really easy to go beyond the edges, right? To get paint where you don't want it to go. So you try to stick with small brushes for small areas. If it's going to require some detail work, you switch brushes. Sometimes I'll get lazy. I'm working with a big brush on something, on some area over here, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to come over and touch up this little area. Maybe I'll just be really careful. All it takes is a slight distraction. All of a sudden I got paint where I don't want it to go. And I got to fix it. So all right, here we are on Mary's head, and we're painting in different directions, gives the hair a little bit of depth. So in a moment, I switch over to my little tiny skinny brush, my pointy little liner brush, if I can see where I put it. Where did I put it? It's not in my cup. What did I do with it? Oh, and I like to lose brushes too, so there's that. All right, little tiny liner, skinny brush. Grab that, I come up in here. There we go. Awesome. Okay. Can't see the bottom under the broom. Okay, let me see if... Can't see the bottom under the broom, huh? Let me see. So I'm not sure, Dashnik. I'm looking at the... looking at my laptop at the feed, at the live feed. I can see it. I can see everything. Maybe something with the screen. I'm not sure. But yeah, let me know, guys, if there's any problem seeing what I've got here. You should be able to see the entire canvas right now. Okay, and then let's work over to the other head. Let's go over to Sarah's head. We're going to take some yellow. I'm using my big 1/4" brush. And here we go. The idea is to cover up your pencil marks. If you're working with transparent paint, and acrylic paint is transparent, oftentimes you'll have to layer a few times to get rid of all your pencil marks. But you don't have to. You don't have to. You may like to be. In some cases, it enhances the painting a bit to see some of those pencil outlines. It just depends on what your aesthetic is, what you like. I don't mind seeing them on the edges. Need a little more yellow here. Oops. Okay, there we go. What I want you guys to do once you're done with this head, and again, some of you may require a 3rd layer of paint. I probably will do a 3rd layer on Mary's head, the blonde, just to make that yellow a little bit more intense. Also, when I add glitter over the top, it'll make a difference. The glitter will help. The glitter will have to. Needs to be zoomed out. Still focused on Hocus. Weird. Again, on my laptop, I can see everything. I wonder if it just depends on the device that you're using. But okay, no worries. Let me know if that fixed it, guys. Yeah, I think it just depends on what device you're watching it on, perhaps. I don't know. I didn't know that. So again, if you decide you're gonna add glitter over their heads, that's gonna make a difference too. That helps everything stand out and pop a little bit more. But what I want you guys to do next is this. Before we continue on with everything else, I want you to look at your background. How's your background look? Do you need another layer of paint? Maybe if you need to touch up some areas, like let's say some of the areas are a little on the transparent side, maybe you can see some of that white canvas coming through, use a smaller brush and just kind of touch some things up. Like I can just see some little areas in here. For me, you don't have to do another layer on the entire canvas, just find the little spots that need a little bit of attention, take the smaller brush and kind of quickly work around them. So again, I'm just looking at all the little areas on my canvas that maybe have some of that canvas still kind of peeking through the paint, and then just adding a little bit of paint over the top. If you guys are interested in entering the raffle for that original painting, you guys will have till tomorrow midnight Pacific Standard Time, right? So I'm on the West Coast, and the reason why I make a cutoff to it, obviously we need to raffle off the painting. But for those of you that didn't hear me at the beginning, I have a virtual tip jar, and you don't have to enter if you don't want to enter the raffle, that's okay too. But if any of you are interested in helping to support the page, helping me be able to continue doing this, sharing these art tutorials, it'd be fantastic. You don't have to. For those of you that can, right? There's no obligation. I'm super happy that you guys are here with me. It just makes me super happy to share my time with you guys and to interact with you guys. But I have a virtual tip jar. I have a Venmo. So here's my little virtual tip jar there. I got a Venmo, I've got a PayPal, and I have a Zelle. If any of you guys are interested in, tipping me, you can use my Venmo at Painting with Jesse. That's basically my email, paintingwithjesse@gmail.com is what you would find me under, but it's Painting with Jesse. PayPal is paypal.me/Painting with Jesse. Be careful when you use PayPal. You need to make sure that it's all one word, Painting with Jesse. If you guys have any questions, send me a message before you send any money through PayPal. Okay, Zelle, 951-217-2237. But the way we're going to do the raffle, and again, you don't have to enter it if you just want to tip, that's perfectly fine. But for every $5 that you tip, counts towards one ticket for the raffle. So if you donate, let's say $10, that's 2 tickets. $15 is 3 tickets. But if you just, whatever you guys want to donate, $1 or whatever the heck you guys want to donate, it's perfectly fine. But every $5 gets you a ticket, and then I pull a name out of the cup. I'll do it live here on Facebook, and I'll do that by next weekend. And then I ship that original painting to one of you guys. Okay? All right, guys. So here we go. Here's what we're going to do next. We're going to go ahead and draw in the cauldron. If you guys have the template, go ahead and use that. Otherwise, you're going to follow along with me. And I'm going to bring the camera forward again a little bit. And I'm going to drop it just a tad. Hang on 1 second. I'm going to bring it down so you guys can see where I'm drawing. Let me know if there's any problems with this. If you guys can't see this, so I can make an adjustment. But it looks like you should be able to see it. All right, here we go. Right over the top, right up in here. Nice little straight line. And your cauldron can be over here, right? If you wanted to, it could be right under the letters. Maybe the letters come out of the cauldron. Oh, you're not using the brush anymore, folks. Whatever brush you're using, put it back into your water cup so it doesn't dry out on you. Right over the top. Nice little line. It goes across. From right here, you can just simply bring it down. You don't need to give your cauldron a rim yet. You're going to give it a nice little bowl underneath, a giant bowl. Okay, something like that. The bottom edge is a little bit flattened out also. So the sides are really what's curved right in here and here. This is where the most curve happens, and then the bottom flattens out a little bit. Okay. You want to give your cauldron an edge, you simply go to the lip. Sorry, a rim. Give it a nice little rectangle, long rectangle over the top. Like that. So a little bowl, a little long rectangle at the top, and that's your rim. You do, Ariel, of course. Absolutely. And then the little feet. Little feet, little curved little things like this. Do one on each side. If you guys have a preferred way of making a cauldron, maybe you got a different cauldron style, please feel free to make your own. Okay, you guys got about 2 minutes to finish that up. Then we're going to do some bats. We're going to do some of the designs around the lettering. We're going to add the little mouths for our Sanderson sisters. And then we're going to go ahead and start outlining everything and filling stuff in black. And doing the lips in red. And we're getting close to the end there. Okay, so 40 seconds on that cauldron. Time flies when you're painting with Jesse. What's up, Lindsay? My sister-in-law Lindsay's painting with us today. How's it going? Let's say hi to my brother. Please. What's up, Jackie Alst from Pahrump, Nevada? How's it going? Yeah, guys, if you guys said hi earlier in the session and I didn't say hello to you, it's because I didn't see your comment. Everything just flies by at the beginning. So many people are commenting. But if you guys want to say hello to me now, it makes it a lot easier for me to say hello. What's up, Marisol Graciani? Marisol, what's happening? Tanya Dupras from Timmins, Ontario, Canada. What's up, Tanya? Thank you all for being here and for saying hello. I do appreciate it. You guys are all awesome. hanging out with me on Thursday evening, Thursday morning if you're in Australia. I know somebody earlier posted it said good morning from Australia. So, but all right, here we go. Got a little cauldron in place. Let's do a big bat over here on the left-hand side or wherever you guys want. Now let's see here. How am I going to do this so you guys can all see it? I'm going to bring it in a little tight, a little close. So here's what I like to start with. Make sure you space out. If you're going to have a big bat like I am here next to the broom, make sure you leave enough space in between the body. We're going to do the main part of the body first so you can stretch out those wings. Okay? So we're going to start with the middle of the bat. We have the bat head. And maybe I'm going to make mine a little bit bigger than I normally would just so you guys can all see it. Got the bat head and it tapers down into a V. Wings down into a V. You're very welcome, Shannon. Thank you for being here. So again, a couple of wings, pointy little ears, not wings, ears, pointy ears, taper the head down into a V. Okay, this is going to be the bottom of the bat. Bottom of the bat, the tail, you'll see. Octavia and Edward Rodriguez, what's up? From Houston, Texas. So what's up, guys? Texas in the house. Okay, so we got this basically we got a big V with a couple of pointy ears on top, and then they meet in the middle. That's the top of the head. From here, you're going to start the wing on the right. Find a little spot near the top of the head. You're going to come over, curve it up. Okay, curves up. You're going to do the same thing on the other side. Curve that up. About the same length from here to there. Same distance. Friday morning in Australia. Yeah, I saw your comment earlier. I think it was you, Heather. I'm not sure. But awesome. Friday morning. Crazy. And then Diana Gahn says, this is my first time doing this, and I must say that this is the best. I'm looking forward to work on tomorrow's painting. Tomorrow's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of people going to be on here. Sarah von der Heide. This is great. Thanks, Jesse from Texas. Hi, Sarah. Thank you. Okay, so we got the top of our wings from right here on each corner. You're going to come down a little bit to the outer edge. You do the same thing on both sides. And all of our bats are basically going to be like this. So if you learn how to do one of these bats, you've got them all. What you're going to do now, from right here, we're going to curve back down. Nice little curve. Okay? And then another one. And then one more, and that connects to the bottom of the tail. And you can make the tail a little longer if you need to. You want that tail to protrude a little bit downwards. Whoa, I gotta plug in my laptop. My power, I'm losing my power here. Don't want to do that. Joanne from Florida. What's happening in Florida? Okay, other wing, same thing. Curve it down, and then one last one that connects to the bottom of the tail. All right, again, you want your little tail at the bottom to stick out a bit. And you can exaggerate these a little bit if you want, right? Some bats, make them a little bit more dramatic maybe. This sticks out a little bit further, sticks out a little bit more. Once you got your first bat, you can make as many bats as you want in different directions. So work on that for just a little bit. Shannon Bakers are enjoying this lesson from Ecuador. Awesome, you're in Ecuador, huh? Pretty cool. Do you guys live out there, or are you guys just visiting, or what's happening? What's happening over there in Ecuador? Okay, guys, so like I said, once you've done one bat, you can do your other bats. Okay, so I'm not going to show you how to do, if there's time later, I'll add a couple of other bats. But this is basically the same process you would use for the other bats. So I will add one more later, more than likely, as long as there's time. It looks like we got some time. But I do want to move on to, we're going to make some stars and then the little decorations around the lettering. So, for example, sorry, and I'm moving the camera back a bit. So the lettering, for example, the designs around the letters like this cool stuff right here, the stars, we want to do some of that. And as we're doing that, again, the heads are going to be drawing, and we can do one more pass of paint over the heads. And we are doing good here. We're doing good. Okay, so you can go ahead and take your pencil. We're going to make some stars next. A few little stars. And you guys remember how we did stars when we were in school? Some of you might still be in school making these kinds of stars, I don't know. But I'll do it maybe on a white piece of paper where it's easier for you guys to see what I'm doing. You guys can start with these for your stars. Do one of these things. Okay, and then you're going to fill that in with paint. So you can do one of these things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then make little adjustments to fix your stars to make them more even. Okay, so you can do that. I've got 1, 2, 3. I got a star up here. I got a star up here, and then I got a star down here on the original. So I'll start here. 1 leg, 2 legs, 3 legs, 4 legs, 5. Same thing up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know why my studio looks really dark today. All my lights on. Oh, World Schooling Art class, awesome! You guys have that Facebook page. I've seen it. I think I've seen it a couple of times. Pretty awesome. I think you guys have shared my videos on there, so I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Okay, one more star right up in here. And you can have as many stars as you want. Up to you. You can add a little star over here. Once you do one star, you know how to do all your other stars. Over the cauldron, we're going to have a few little stars, maybe smaller ones kind of flying out of the cauldron. Down here. Let me take a look at my camera, my app, make sure I'm not getting any warnings from Facebook for the music. Again, this music is supposed to be copyright free, but you never know. What's up, Melinda Nickens? Having a great time here in West Baltimore. Well, glad to hear that, and welcome to the page. Okay, then we got a few little drops of potion coming out, flying out of our cauldron. So a few little drops like that. Look, almost like little teardrops. Let me bring those closer to the camera. Here, here, here. And while we're at it, we're gonna make some of these little guys right here on the P. Back here. These again kind of the same. They look like these little drops that we just made, but they're a little wider here, up in here, there, there, and there. And like I said, folks, we're getting there. There's quite a few guys still hanging out, so I do appreciate that. And a lot of people have jumped off, probably because they got stuff to do, you know. But for those of you that are still here, I really do appreciate it. Right here next to our P. And right here, maybe right above our broom. I'm I'm going to take a little break here, give you guys a couple minutes to catch up. I know I've kind of covered a lot of stuff here pretty fast, so I don't want you guys to get too far behind. Okay, don't forget your bat, your little stars, the drops of potion flying out of the cauldron. Maybe I want another one over here. And then the little decorations around the letters. I did this one in front of the P, that one right next to the H. Still need to do some over here. If I've got room, I may not have any room over here. It looks like I squeezed in the stars a little bit, so not too important. I mean, I don't have to do it over here. But up in here, those will come next. All right, guys, work on that for just a bit. Chrissy Snow, Jersey. How's it going, Jersey? Welcome. Isa Aguilar says, can I put some little witch hats? Absolutely. If you guys feel like adding your own spin on this, I think I mentioned it at the beginning, but I haven't mentioned it since. Whatever you guys want to add to your painting, please feel free to do so. You want to add whatever you think belongs here. Black cat, witches hats, jack-o'-lanterns, whatever it is you guys want. It's your painting. I want you guys happy with it. I am going to ask you guys again to please send me pictures of your masterpieces when you're all done. I loved seeing all the different paintings, and I do try to post them, but I'm super far behind with all the events that I've been doing on the page. But I will eventually be posting these, and then if you guys post them to the comments section in the video, here in the video, when it's all done, the video will still be available, like I said. You can always come and post your masterpiece here, but I would also appreciate if you guys could message it me directly. That way I can get an alert. If you just come and post it here in the comments, I don't get an alert to it. I don't know that it's here unless I come looking for them. Okay? And if you guys want to send pictures of yourselves holding them with your group or whoever you're painting with, that'd be even more awesome for me. Okay, so let's add a couple of direct decorations up here by the S. Okay. And if you've got some room on this little S to do a little kind of little curl, like I did on the original, feel free to do that. But that's all I'm going to have room for. I don't have room to add any more over here of these guys here that I have on the original. No big deal. Once you're done with that, we're going to start painting in black. We're going to start painting our cauldron, outlining our words, our broom, and stuff like that. In between that, we're going to come back and do one more layer on our heads. Okay, and then once we do that third layer, we're going to come up and maybe do a couple more bats up here. If you guys haven't done them yet, you guys can do them whenever you'd like if there's some time. But we'll add the bats. Then by then our third layer will be dry and we can add some glitter over everything. So alright, let me grab some of my black paint. Pam Velasquez having a good time. Another bottle of wine, huh? Yep, wine and painting. Definitely a good time. Can't go wrong with that. Belen M. Reyes says, till the end. Fantastic, Belen. That's how we do it around here. Okay, so I've got my little tiny, one of my liner brushes, my little skinny pointy thing. And what I like to do anytime I'm going to be doing any time of intricate work like wording or drawing little small little designs like the stars or the drops from the cauldron, what I like to do is I'll take some of my paint, I'll bring it over to the side. Then I'll take my brush. I will dip it into my water cup. I'll do this, and I'll bring a few of those drops of water over, and I'll do this a few times. I want to add plenty of water to the paint, but I don't want to add so much water, so I've got the drops right on top here. I'll mix it into the paint real nicely. I don't want to add so much water that the paint becomes runny, because we don't want to have any streaking when we start to paint. We don't want any paint to start running down the canvas. But once I've done this a few times, what will happen is the paint gets really nice and flowy. It's smooth. It's easier to draw with. And the paint applies to the canvas much more easily. What I also like to do is I'll take my brush as I'm loading it up with paint. I'm pulling away from the canvas and I spin it. That makes the tip get really skinny. Now it makes it a lot easier for me to come in here and paint. Micaela says, "I smell children." Yeah, that's a good quote. It's actually one of my favorite quotes from the movie. So here we go. I'm going to do the lettering first. What I will often do is I'll take my hand and I'll use my palm, the palm of my hand, and I'll put it up against the canvas. The palm of my hand then stabilizes my drawing hand. That's one way. Another way, since I'm on an easel here, I'll take my non-drawing hand, I'll put it on the table, I'll put my painting hand right over the top of the wrist, and that will stabilize my hand also. This, because of the water that I've added to my paint, makes my work a lot easier. The water does a lot of the work for me. And for some of this, you want to just barely press or barely touch the tip of the bristles to the canvas. So I actually went outside my line a little bit. No big deal. But you want to barely touch the bristles to the canvas. And you can do this all the way around. If you guys aren't getting this kind of flow on the paint, add a little bit more water to it. Like I said, it's the water that will help to do the work for you. If you're struggling at all to get that paint on there, consider adding more water. And I started with Pocus. I could have started with Hocus. Don't know exactly. I wasn't really thinking about where I was starting. No big deal. But I'm adding more water to my mix, to my paint. But having my music, I'm going to turn it up a little bit. If you guys have any questions, make sure you put them in the comments. Now's the perfect time, because we don't have all the activity from earlier and I can more easily see them. As I get to the end of each letter, I will pull as I'm going through the motion when I get towards the end, I will lift the brush away from the canvas, and that helps make my line pointy. So again, I just lift it. Instead of stopping abruptly, I get to the end and I lift it away from the canvas, and that makes it have a nice pointy finish. All right, I'll let you guys work on that for a bit. Looks like everybody's probably concentrating right now. Susie Lozano says, Texas, born and raised. Awesome, Susie. Let's see, trying to just go through those comments, see if I missed anyone. I can only go back so far, so. All right. So what you can do with the lettering also, once you've got the main lines all done, and you can come in here and add a little bit of thickness to some of your lines. Like for example, this O, I can come in here. Gives it a little bit of a calligraphy look. Like I'm using a calligraphy pen. The C. Be careful with this. You don't want to start making your letters too thick. You may not like it, so you want to work slowly with this part of it. Also, keep in mind, you can always do this later. If you start feeling like a little bit of painting fatigue settling in, maybe just do all the stuff that's easy to do and worry about more intricate stuff like this for later. So I'll come up right next to the original line and just add a little bit of, I'll add another line next to it wherever I want to increase the thickness, right? And then I just move on to the next letter. For example, here in the P, I'd like the base to be a little thicker on this long part of the letter. There we go. Maybe this part of the P is also a little thicker, so okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the broom now, and with the broom, when we do the broom handle part, nice and skinny. Skinny first and then add thickness later. When you do these long lines, it's especially important to have paint on your brush. You also don't want to go too slowly, or your hand's going to shake. And once you commit to a line, go for it. That doesn't mean you have to go super fast through it, but you don't want to go, like I said, don't go slow through it. Your hand is more likely to shake. Be bold, move with a little bit of confidence. The top of the broom handle is a little thicker than the rest of the broom, right? I'm using my pinky here to stabilize my hand. I put my pinky up against the canvas, and I even use my other hand. I also put it down on the table, and I use both combined. Back here on the bottom part of the broom, the part where the motor is. Okay. And there's a little bit of a curvature to my broom. No No big deal. Looks, I kind of like it. I'm just going to refine my lines a little bit more, and then we're done with the broom. Any questions you guys might have around painting in general, or my page in general? Like I said, there's a whole bunch of videos that you guys can go back and watch. All right, there we go. Good night, Rose. Good night, Rose. Good night. Don't forget, folks, tomorrow, Nightmare Before Christmas. Okay, so there's my lettering. Now I'm going to move on. Start working on some of the little details. Little stars. And you can work the stars the same way as when you first did it with the pencil. You can kind of do the lines first and then fill it in. A Beauty and the Beast themed painting. I've had that request a couple of times now. And yeah, I think, especially after the holidays are over, that's probably something that's coming up. Maybe at the beginning of next year. That would be pretty cool. You guys can also send me ideas directly, like through Messenger. If you guys find a painting or a theme or something that you guys are interested in doing, as long as it's something that would be popular, I will likely do it. But I always appreciate the recommendations. I'm getting a lot of Grinch recommendations for Christmas. So guess what we're going to be doing? We're definitely doing the Grinch. I wish I could be playing the movie in the background, Hocus Pocus. Yeah, I'm playing in the background. That'd be so cool. But I'm afraid, my video would get booted off. All right, there's my stars. I'm not missing any stars. What I'm going to do next, when you guys do the bat, you want to do the out and the cauldron too. You want to outline it first. So do the outer edges. This helps you stay within the lines once you start to paint the inside. back, can't forget the tail. Make sure the tail's nice and refined. We're also going to be adding glitter to the bats. Well, some of you are. Then the cauldron, same thing. Again, we outline everything. To my group that's painting in from Ecuador, what time is it over there? Just curious. Harry Potter. That's a good one, Isa. Sarah Melanie says something super kid friendly, like even a little pumpkin or snowman. That would be cool. That'd be cool. Diana Gone, when will you have this video posted for us to review? So the video, once the live is over, it usually takes, from what I've been seeing, it takes about 5, maybe 10 minutes for Facebook to then release it. Because I go ahead and save it. As soon as the video's over, when I hit end, Facebook gives me the option to either delete the video or to save it. I always hit save. And then about maybe, like I said, 5-10 minutes later, the video is on my lives tab under my Facebook page. You can go and watch it. But yeah, it does take a little bit, just a little bit. Not too long, so it'll be up there. And like I said, I plan on leaving it up through the end of October at least. So you guys have some time. Okay, so here we go. Work on your stuff here for a little bit. When you're all done, I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes. You will be able to go back to this. I want to do one more layer of paint on the heads. Okay, so be ready for that. Just got to take a little drink. Come over and look. Make sure that I'm not getting any messages, nasty messages from Facebook. If you happen to find that maybe you've got a lot of space between the bottom and your wording, your bats, etc., you can add stuff to fill it in, right? More bats, more stars, whatever you feel like. Sometimes, like this empty space down in here, you might want to go, hey, I'm going to add some stuff to that. You can. Feel free to do so. Cats, pumpkins, jack-o'-lanterns, more bats, more brooms. Who knows? Whatever you guys want. So I'm just going to get my orange paint here, my purple paint, my yellow paint, and get that ready. You guys got about 30 seconds or so. And like I said, we're just going to go through here and add some more layering to our heads before we move on and do some bats. Refine some of the lettering, etc. And then by then we're ready to add some glitter. Penguins! All right, here we go, guys. A little bit of orange paint right in here. So this is taking a little longer than expected. Issa just pointed out we've been doing this for about 3 hours. Holy crap. Time does fly. And I felt like I was going kind of on the faster side. Where did the time go? We started at, wait, 2 hours. I'm sorry. We started at 4. Yeah, sorry, we started at 4. So 2 hours. We've been doing this for 2 hours. I think I calculated we'd be doing it about 2, maybe 2.5. I don't remember now. Anyhow, okay. Time hasn't flown that much. That quickly. All right. So again, I'm using these short little brush strokes, creating depth in my paint, thickness, layering it a little bit. All right. Christmas polar bear, the mama bear and 2 baby cubs theme. That'd be good. That's a good one. I like that. Okay, so there's Winnie's head. What I'll do oftentimes, I'll simply take the extra paint off with a paper towel. If I'm moving from a light color like orange to a dark color like purple, as long as I remove most of the paint from my brush without dipping my brush into the water, this is all I need to do. Now I'll come over, I'll grab some of this purple, nice and thick, and here we go. Again, brush selection is important. So for these larger areas, I pick larger brushes. Smaller areas, smaller brushes. No need to hold your brush all super tight and tense and close to the front. A nice loose hold back towards the back of the handle. Is all you need. Okay. So now I switch brushes back to one of my little, I use my little 1/8 inch brush. This little guy right here. Just so I can do my edges. So we've probably got about another 15-20 minutes to go here. If you guys don't get to finish any of this, again, if you're a little further behind or whatever, don't stress. You can always do most of what I'm doing now. Actually, you can do all of what I'm doing now later, right? Move with me. We're going to do some bats here in a moment, or further refine our lettering. Do that with me, and then come back and do this other stuff. And if you're going to add glitter, I am going to add some glitter to it. You can add the glitter later. Or, sorry, you can add it with me, or you can add it later. Up to you. All right. Let's get some yellow on Sarah's head. Taking my brush, I'm just going to clean it up a bit. Because I was working with purple, I do want to slosh it around in my cup a bit. Take all that purple out of there. You could have gone from Winnie to Sarah and then over to Mary first, in that order. Probably would have been the more efficient way to do it because of the colors. Yellow and orange are a lot closer than purple is, right? To either of those. So it's an easier transition when you're having to change colors. So orange and yellow can blend a little bit, and it won't be as bad. Whoops. And it won't be as bad as if purple blends with either orange or yellow. Hey Ariel, did you happen to see any posts from scammers trying to lure people away? I did see some links during the, like about an hour before the event started, in the discussion board of the main event of the event. I did see some there, and I banned and deleted them, but I didn't see any during the live feed. Did you see any? Sounds good, Ariel. Oh, How to Train Your Dragon. That's a good one. Kimberly. It's a great idea. I like that. How to Train Your Dragon. Okay, so I just went ahead and did another layer over the top of Sarah's head. Okay. Now, really quickly, I'm going to add maybe another bat up here in just a moment, or another one over here. We're going to kind of look around, refine a little bit our lettering, and then we're ready to add some glitter to the girls' heads. Again, if you don't have glitter and you want to stick around to see how that works, please do so. You can always get the glitter later and come back and apply it. Right? So you can kind of learn how to do it today, and then you can add the glitter anytime you want. Oh, I just realized I was zoomed out. That means I was zoomed a little close when I was doing the girls' heads. But you guys get the picture. Basically, I was layering paint over the top of each head. So I'm going to draw another bat up in here. And I'm going to draw it large like this one. Should be a little smaller just for aesthetics purposes, but no big deal, so you guys can see what I got. Do it in pencil first. Remember, we do the main part of the body first. The head with the pointy ears tapers down into a V at the bottom. This is going to end up being the tail. Got a little wing on each side. It goes up. Then it curves down. Goes back up. Curve down towards the tail. We do that on each side. We erase this side a little bit to shorten it up just a touch. Little point. There's too many on this side. That's alright, we can live with that. When you go ahead and color in my new buddy. Looks too big a brush. So you guys that are with me right now, you guys are troopers. Go. Diane Rodriguez, my pleasure. Thank you for being here. And then I'm going to do one more bat over here. This time I'm not going to draw it. I'm just going to go ahead and do it with my paintbrush. Don't forget, folks, tomorrow is Nightmare Before Christmas, Jack and Sally. I was about to say Nightmare on Elm Street. Wrong movie. Come along, paint along on a Friday night. Alright guys, so work on that for a couple minutes. As that's happening, this is all drying, and I'm going to get a chance to come in here and show you guys what a little glitter will do. So I'm going to get that prepped. Chrissy, you got it. Patty Schoenborn. Chino, you're in Chino, California? So maybe an hour north of me, 45, 50 minutes or so. Is that what we're talking about there, Patty? Oh, the lips. That's right, guys, the lips. I almost always forget something, so we're got to talk about those lips. Woo! Thank you, Shannon. So, little tiny liner brush is what we're going to use in a moment. So get your little liner brushes ready. Okay, the lips on Winnie and Sarah are pretty much the same, except for Winnie's are a little bit thicker. And then, of course, you've got, let me see, my camera here. Mary's are a little crooked. Thank you. Thank you again. I was like, we're almost done here. We are, but I almost forgot that little step. I was just testing you guys. You're paying attention. Awesome. You see? All right, let me see here. I'm gonna bring the camera forward again. All right. Here we go. Let's look at Winnie's lips. So Winnie's lips are down here somewhere, and if your lips are a little higher up or a little bit lower, not that big of a deal. What you're gonna do is you're gonna make a nice little skinny line sideways first. Okay, like that. And again, because we're drawing, and I didn't do it yet, but I'm about to, I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of paint over, move it over on my plate, add a little bit of water to it. So I dip my brush into my water, bring it over to my paint, mix that up really nicely. Easier to work with. I got a really skinny brush, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the top of each point of those lips. Right, see these little pointy, puckered lips, almost. Not puckered, but almost. Almost like we're doing a little M over the top of the line that we just created. A little M. And let's go ahead and fill that in. And her lips don't have to be perfectly symmetrical, right? As long as it kind of look like lips. So that's our top lip. Now underneath it, we're going to draw a little curved line. And then we fill that in. Okay, we're not done yet. On the corners of her lips, we're just going to extend them out a little tiny bit. There we go. Okay. All right, Tara Fish, you got it. See you tomorrow. Fantastic. Hope to see you tomorrow. Kimberly Aspas Gurno says, what about The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings? Ooh, those are so many good ideas from you guys. That's why I like to ask, because I know that you guys come up with some really cool stuff that I don't even think about. Stephanie Roush, Baltimore County here. All three of my sisters are painting and watching the movie. Awesome. What a cool night. That sounds like a really cool night. And Patty Schoenborn says, yes, sir, to my Chino question. Awesome. I used to work out at Chino Hills. I used to work right there. Back in the day. Okay, so we got Winnie's lips. Let's come over to Sarah's lips. Now Sarah's a little bit closer to the top of the head. Now again, in comparison to the original, this is a little bit more wide open here than it is. I can close it up if I want to, but this works too. I don't have any problem with this. I can always close in the sides of her hair a bit to kind of bring that in a bit. Maybe I'll do just a bit. I'm gonna grab, let's see. Gotta be careful that I don't grab a brush that has all kinds of dark paint on it, because I don't want any other color other than yellow, right? Anyway, we'll leave that for last, for those of you that stick around for a little bit. I know you guys want to see, some of you guys got to get to bed and stuff, or have kiddos that got to get to bed. Okay, right in here. So we come down a little bit, right? From the top of the head, we come down a little bit, kind of gauge where you'd like to have these lips. And kind of similar to Winnie's. Got a little pointy, puckered lips a little. They're a little more elongated. Kind of like that. Nice little curved bottom lip. Come out to a little bit of a point. Just a touch. Okay. While I'm here, I'm going to take my little tiny skinny brush, one of my other little skinny brushes, and I'm going to do that little birthmark in black. So all this is the very point of my brush. I dipped it in black, and I'll come over. Boom. There's her little birthmark. So take about a minute on that, and then we're gonna do Mary's lips. We still got about 65 devices watching. That means at least 65 of you. I know some of you guys are in groups, so that's pretty awesome. All right, Mary's lips. So Mary's lips are a lot more open. They're right here for you guys to see. The top lip is just going to be a thin line. So you find a little spot somewhere down here. Nice little thin line on top. Using just the tip of my brush here. Just draw a nice little thin line. Hey, Leanne Madrid. Great question. I take requests. I do. It just depends on whether something's popular or not. But check it out. Hold that top. You guys work on that top lip. All right, you're gonna have to hold that thought a little bit longer. Let's do Mary's bottom lip. So what I want to show you, pull it out here in just a moment. Last week or the week before, we did Miguel. We did Miguel from Coco. The week before that, we did his dog Dante. And those videos are still up if you guys want to go check those out. So her bottom lip, we start with a nice little line that comes down a little bit like that, one side. Their bottom lip, and then it curves back and over and connects to the other side. But this is a little short line and then a long line over. Once you've got that, you want to come in here and you can thicken up the lips a bit. Right, she's got a little bit of a crooked smile or grimace. And you can exaggerate a little bit more if you want. But then come in and add a little bit more thickness to the top lip. Okay, so work on that for a moment. So check it out, guys. This video, the video for this tutorial is still up. We did Miguel. I taught you guys how to draw it from scratch, and then we painted it last Thursday, I think it was, or last Tuesday, I don't remember now. And then the week before that, we did Dante. So if you guys, his dog Dante. So if you guys are interested, go back and look for those. But yeah, if you guys want to do other stuff like the, maybe Grandma Coco or the Alebrije, whatever you guys want to do, let me know. Like I said, if it's something popular, we'll do that. All right, Stephanie, fantastic. Thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you. I know it's been a little bit of a long night, but I really do appreciate you guys being here with me, and I'm hoping that you guys are enjoying this as much as I am. So we got Mary's crooked lip. We're gonna add her little birthmark, and that's up on top. There we go, just like that. And again, feel free to exaggerate her lip a little bit more, right? She's got a really defined crooked lip in the movie, so you guys can work on that. After you've done the lips, what I want you guys to do is take a look around. And I know that some of you guys aren't all the way up here just yet. You're taking your time with it. It's all good. But when you get to this step, you want to look around. Refine anything that you might feel needs to be refined, like the lettering, maybe the cauldron, the shape of the bats, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, guys, please, Shannon Claus asked, send a picture of me directly. Yes, please do. Send it to me on Painting with Jesse, on Messenger on Painting with Jesse. It's just easier for me to keep track of them. You can also post it here in the comments so that you guys can share it with each other. Right, and I see a lot of people sharing them in the comments after the video's over. Please feel free to do so. It gives others a chance to see everybody else's work. Eventually, I plan on posting all these, but you know, it's just a matter of time, and I can't, you know, it's a little difficult to stay on top of all these, but I'd love to see them. So send them directly to me on Facebook on my Painting with Jesse page. If you take a picture with your group or of yourself holding the painting or just the painting, that's all fantastic, and I do appreciate it. Don't forget, for those of you that want to enter the raffle for the original painting here, I will ship it to somebody. In order to enter, you know, if any of you tip $5 to my virtual tip jar or more, for every $5 that you tip, that's one ballot. And I will send this out to you, okay? I will ship it to you. And I'll be doing the raffle by the end of next week. I'll announce it when I'm going to do it. It'll be live on my Facebook page and all that good stuff. So again, every $5 that you tip, it's a ticket. If you tip multiples of 5, like 10, 15, etc., each one of those is a ticket. And the information for my virtual tip jar is in the description of the video. Okay, it's all in the description of the video, so you can always come back and look at that later. But all right, everyone, let's talk about glitter, because we're at that step. We are at the glitter step. And again, I know that not all of you have glitter, no big deal. You guys can always add this part later. It really does create a really cool effect on your finished piece. The glitter colors that I'll be using today are crystal or pearl and red. You'll be applying these just like you do paint. I'm just getting these ready here, so bear with me one moment. I'll get to that. So I'm putting a little bit of the pearl glitter on my plate here. A little bit goes a long way, and you can layer it just like you do paint. Again, I picked this stuff up at Michael's. For those of you that are interested, it's a Deco Art brand, Craft Twinkles. You can order it online, or you can go over to Michael's and pick it up. Hobby Lobby has a brand that's kind of similar. I tend to like working with the Michael's brand a little bit better or this Deco Art brand a little better. But either one will work. Then I'm going to do a little bit of red for the lips. And we're good to go. So, big brush. You want to apply the glitter with a clean brush. You don't want to have any paint, any wet paint on your brush, or it will cloud up your glitter. It won't look as nice. It will make it opaque. And then you want to work with the dry areas first. So check your painting to make sure the area is dry before you apply glitter to it. You grab it just like you do with regular paint, and you come on over and just right over the top. Again, make sure your surface is already dry before you go and do this, and this is all dry paint on the canvas. But this really does make a really cool difference. You can do this, you can apply this to your bats, to your lettering, to the cauldron, everywhere, anywhere. And again, this is a step that you can always do later. Okay, here's that. You got it, Kimberly. So here's what that looks like, kind of up close. Look at the only one with glitter right now is Sarah's character, Sarah's head. Okay, and it's a little hard to see in the camera, but it's super glittery. And then I can go ahead and do the same thing to all of the heads, right? I can do it to the letters. I'm going to go and do the lips right now. I know some of you guys are getting ready to call it a night. So I just grab my little skinny brush, come on over right on those lips. Once this layer of glitter dries, and come back and do another layer over it. Makes it a lot more intense. Might as well do all three lips right now. Okay. Just like that. And again, let me see if we can see it. Look at Winnie's lips. Look at that. Okay, and then look at all that glitter on Sarah's head. So I'm going to do glitter. We can use a little tiny brush to do all the letters and stuff in the cauldron. I'm not going to do that now. I will go ahead and do it over Winnie's head, or sorry, Mary's head. Just to show you one more example of what this looks like. And then, you know, you guys can continue doing this on your own if you have glitter. Just keep in mind the rules. Make sure you're using clean brushes. You don't want to pollute your glitter with any wet paint, and you don't want to add the glitter to areas of the painting that are still wet, because it'll eliminate a lot of that shimmer. It'll cloud it up. There we go, all the way around. Winnie's head, or Winnie's head, Mary. I'm noticing in the camera it's a little hard to see how much glitter there's on here, but this is really, really shiny. While I'm at it, I might as well do the cauldron down here. The very last thing, if you guys are painting on an easel, besides signing your piece, is maybe if you're doing your edges, if you painted your edges like I did, you want to do your bottom edge, meaning this down here, right? So whoops, I got a big old glob of glitter that landed over here. But I would take some paint and do the bottom part. What I would do is I'd flip my canvas over like this, and I would take any one of my brushes, or just grab some like this and come across the top, or across the edge. So don't forget to sign your pieces. Should have signed it before I did this, but that's okay. And the reason why I say I should have is just to show you guys. I can always sign it whenever, right? But I would sign it first, I'd flip it over, then do this, and then I would leave it upside down like this while all this dries. Okay? All right, everyone. So that's pretty much the last step in today's painting. Don't forget, tomorrow is going to be a fun one. Jack and Sally. I think Jack, did I say Jack and Sarah earlier? I might have. Jack and Sally. I'm going to be teaching you guys how to draw and paint the whole piece. If you guys want to use a template, take I've included in the event page, I've included a picture of my original painting. You could use that. Print that out, cut out what you need, cut out Sally's head, cut out Sally's or Jack's head or whole body, whatever you need, cut it out, and you'll use that as a template. But I'm going to be teaching you guys how to draw that whole piece. So that's going to be a little time. I'm considering that a lot of you guys are going to stick around for the drawing part of it, and maybe some of the painting part of it, and then finish off the painting on your own later. We'll see how it goes. But there's a lot of people signed up for that. So come on out. Feel free to join in. I'm going to go ahead and flip it over for now, and we're good to go. But I want to thank all of you guys again. Fantastic. Please send me your pictures. I'd love to see your handiwork. And if you haven't yet, please like the page. That's the only way you guys will get notifications of all the new events, and we've got a bunch of really cool stuff coming. So please like the page. And then also you guys can help me by sharing the page with your friends on your Facebook pages. Anybody that you guys think might be interested, if you have friends or family or whatever that might enjoy this, share the Painting with Jesse page on your Facebook page, and that would be greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. All right, everyone. Thank you guys once again. I hope to see you guys here tomorrow, or if not tomorrow, on another event here very soon. And you guys have an awesome rest of the night. Hope to see your paintings also. Okay, make sure you guys send me your pictures of your masterpieces. All right, guys. See you guys all very soon. Bye-bye.